Inside this plain Conrad model box is an MAN TGX tractor and a Faymonville Telemax trailer, which in real life can extend to over 50 metres in length. Inside the box is the typical high quality Conrad foam rubber, but there's no instructions with the model and there's no information about the real machine. There's only a couple of parts to the model. There's the MAN tractor and the trailer itself, which is quite large and surprisingly heavy because of its metal construction. Also included is a couple of bags of parts, and these include width markers, deck posts and the usual mirrors and aerials for the tractor. As usual for a Conrad tractor, there's a few bits to fit, and the first thing to do is just to separate them out with a suitable sharp modelling knife. The door mirrors are very straightforward. Just on the passenger side there's a small mirror to fit to the door mirror frame, and then you can install the whole of the door mirror into the side of the cab, and they're a good fit, so it's all quite straightforward. And on this version of the MAN tractor, the roof aerials just plugged straight in, no need to trim the ends or anything, and they're a very good fit as well. Starting with the tractor, there are beacon lights on the roof and colour-coded door mirrors, but the rest of the colour scheme looks rather plain. The matching coloured wheel hubs do look smart, and there's an MAN type number in small graphics on the door. Behind the cab there's a metal step plate and handrail, and the wheel arches are plastic. Underneath, the detail is good with the full transmission modelled, and although much of it's in plastic, it does look quite detailed, and the steering is modelled just in a functional way. The detailing under the trailer is quite good, the structure's modelled well, and there's also a spare wheel. Again, the wheel hubs look smart in red. There's a graphic on the trailer edge, but no yellow stripe. At the rear the lights are painted, and there's a warning sign in German. Out on the test track, the MAN tractor rolls pretty well. As usual for Conrad models, there's no sprung suspension, but the rear axles do float and give a bit of movement. But the steering on this model is very good. You can get a really hard lock and the wheels don't foul the wheel arches, so you can push it in a tight circle and it works just fine. The other feature on the tractor unit is the tilting cab, and this works reasonably well. There's a plastic engine underneath, but it's one of those tilting cabs that somehow just doesn't really go far enough. Although it can stay tilted, really it wants to go forward more. Let's have a look at the Faymonville trailer, and this is a completely new model from Conrad. It rolls along pretty well, and there's a degree of movement on each of the axles on the trailer, but again they're not sprung, they just have up and down movement possible. Being an extendable trailer, the rear four axles all steer and they're linked together and give a degree of proportionality in the steering as well, and that all works really quite well. When this type of trailer is extended and very long, it needs the rear steering so it can actually negotiate corners properly. Looking underneath the trailer, there are a couple of options for landing legs. There are a pair which are just pull down landing legs. They're plastic and they're quite robust and they work well. And there's also this hydraulically powered one which you can open right up if you want, although the trailer's not stable like that, and it's not really meant to go that way. It's really just, I think, for stability when loading. The main feature though on the Telemax trailer is that you can fully extend it, and you can actually get an amazing length of trailer just by stretching out the telescopic sections, and there are 3 of them, and when you fully stretch it out you get a very long model indeed. In fact, from cab to tail it's about 1 metre long, and it's very impressive. There are a couple of other optional parts you can fit on the model, and the first we'll look at is the extended width markers. These are just simple plastic parts which plug in at the front and rear of the trailer, and you can either show them out like this, or if you want you can tuck them in, and you can see the one on the left is tucked in. And here the CranesEtcTV guy is telling his friend it's sticking straight out and he's holding it in his hand. The other optional part you can fit is the deck posts. These are metal parts and there's quite a few of them, and they just fit into holes down the deck edge. The fit is usually pretty good, but sometimes you find that one might be a bit loose in its hole, so you might need to just use some plastic putty or something to help straighten it up. As well as fitting them down the deck edge, you also have the option to fit them across the deck in 3 different places, and that just gives some variety of posing. So the final task to do is to fit the trailer to the tractor, and as with all Conrad models, that's just a push fit, and it's quite secure when it's fitted, and then you can just push your trailer and tractor along, and it all works fine together. This is an interesting model from Conrad, and it will certainly look good in haulage company colours. The detail level is good, and the extending function of the Telemax trailer is engineered very well. Overall, the model is good enough to be highly recommended.